Now, Jo's going to tell us how all of it's planned, managed and delivered. And she's going to report on the progress of a 3-year strategy to become fully multi-channel. That started in 2010 and it's now coming to its close. So please welcome Jo Moran.
It's difficult to follow an introduction of food porn, so I think I'm going to stop before I try and embarrass myself. Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for such a warm welcome. I'm Jo Moran. I'm Head of Customer Service for Marks & Spencer across all points of contact with the brand. So whether you shop in our stores, on the web, on your mobile phone, you shop in BP outlets or on our stations, then if you've got lots of positive feedback, please do share it with me. At the start of these sessions, I'm always the first one to say we can always do better. And our plans to develop to become a truly leading multi-channel international retailer are based on the fact that our customers have told us how we can do better. And that's the story I'd just like to share with you this morning. But I'm hoping, first of all, that I'm going to show you a short VT that brings some of the journey that we've already embarked on to life. That's just a little short outtake showing you some of the challenges, but some of the opportunities that we face. But for those of you in the audience that have never shopped online with Marks & Spencer, I'm sure that's very few and far between. I thought I'd just share a little bit of positioning about how big our business is, but then move on to what we're trying to do to continually improve it for the customers. So last year we outturned £560 million worth of revenue, and over 12% of our sales of general merchandise, that's clothing and home, are now online. That's trebled from 4 years ago. And 2% of our food business is online. And that's wine to order, that's party food that you can order online and collect in stores, and it's also flowers. But at the moment, we've got no intent to move to a full online grocery shopping to home delivery. We've got a high proportion of orders that touch our store, and I guess this is really where our multi-channel journey started. With Shop Your Way that we launched a couple of years ago, so customers can now order online for free delivery to store to collect the next day. 60% of our orders touch a store, so our customers are already ahead of the game and have really embraced multi-channel thinking and multi-channel shopping. And you can't say this for every organisation in this business, but it is profitable. But we know that we need to invest, and we really can't stand still. We're number 3 in online clothing and footwear, probably bigger than some of you, and particularly I, when I started to research this presentation, probably imagined. But there's a gap. If you look at the bottom green bar, we've got 6% share online and 11% share in total. So there is a real opportunity, and that's the opportunity that we've really got to grasp as we move forward. We've recently taken number 1 spot in the 55 plus category, and that is critically important for us. Our 55 plus female customer, sorry guys in the room, is the customer that we cannot fail. She is our biggest critic, but she is our biggest advocate, and she is very, very forgiving. So we're really now starting to tune into her needs and respond to what she wants as we start to move the business forward. This chart is sort of where I bring out my dirty washing in public. This is how customers rate their online experience. And you can see that we're probably not doing well in terms of stock availability, the delivery proposition, and improving our ways to shop. but ease of purchase is pretty good. So we've really listened to our customer, and this has determined our investment and our improvement priorities that we are putting into place, as you heard in the introduction, as we're starting to move towards that market-leading position. And they're the areas where we've invested significantly, but have still got more work to do. We have seen good growth in the percentage of multi-channel shoppers, though. Back in 2009, of the 32 million people that walk through M&S's doors every single year, 2.2 million of them shopped online. 3 years later, that's doubled to 4.6 million. So we really are starting to see how customers are embracing multi-channel, and it gives them more access points to the M&S network across the whole of the United Kingdom and beyond. So if it's about responding to our customers, we really need to know who our customers are. So this just paints you a picture of who our typical customer is. I'm sure there's quite a few of you in the room. I won't dare guess what age category you're in. I'll move on quickly. So our typical customer is age 55 to 65. Again, coming back to what I just said, it's that 55 plus customer for who we cannot fail. And there's been a real misconception, I think, in the market, but absolutely within M&S, that this customer doesn't interact online. She's a bit frightened of all of that technology. It did take me a number of years to teach my mother how to text, and I now do and get 2 or 3 of the same text, but she's probably atypical. A lot of our customers are out there, own lots of technology. As you can see from the chart, this category, 55 to 65, 80% of them have a laptop. 52% of them have a smartphone, and over 35% have a tablet. And they don't just have them, they use them to interact every single day. Over 60% of them do their banking online. 65% of them buy tickets or organise their travel online. They're in touch with their families, uploading photographs and videos so they can stay in touch with their families and friends in different areas across the UK and beyond. Over 40% of them are on Facebook. And a lot of them are using it to download their music. So to think that our customer isn't in touch, to think that our customer isn't savvy around multi-channel just isn't true. And therefore, for us, that's a real opportunity that we've got to really unlock and invest in. So painted a bit of a picture, and you've seen from the video, which is a bit tongue-in-cheek at the start of the session, about how there is a pace of change. I think the most important thing to recognise is that you can't stand still, because that online change will grow. There are lots of different industry figures as to how much of shopping will be online by the year 2025. But if it's around, where are we now, 2012, around 8-9% now, there's no doubt that it will at least double by the time we get to 2025. So we've got to be in tune with that pace of change and not just be thinking about how do we deliver the 3-year plan now, but where do we need to get to in the future. And that pace of change will be delivered will be delivered by listening to what our customers are telling us that they want. It will also come through in supply chain improvements, which is one of the areas that we're investing in, which I'll come back to later. It will also be driven by technology that we know about, but I think the scary thing is it will also be driven by technology that we've got no idea yet because it hasn't been invented. And one of the challenges I think we have and other organisations have is how do you stay fast and flexible so that you don't lock yourself into a plan that you then can't react to. So hopefully you've seen from that it's a massive opportunity. Our customers are engaged with it, they're fairly tech savvy, the market's growing, so that should place us well. But what we've got to do is to take that leap from being a 129-year-old shop-based retailer and really embrace multi-channel in absolutely everything that we do. One of the opportunities, it will give us more reach, because whilst we do have a vast array of stores, whether they are wholly owned or the food franchise ones, or our outlet portfolio as well, there are those areas, and I'm sure some of you would say, well, my local store doesn't stock everything. But multi-channel allows our customers to offer everything to every single customer. We also know that we get more spend per customer. So for every channel that our customer shops in, when they then add another channel, they treble their value to the business. So customers that shop in 2 channels are 3 times more valuable. If they shop in another channel, they're then 6 times more valuable. So they are really, really important customers to the business because they'll shop around and they'll shop multi-channel. Gives us new points of entry to the brand as well. Whilst our typical customer is in the 55 to 65 brackets, our online-only shopper tends to be younger, around the 35 to 45. Really important that we're engaging with them. And that's particularly true in our international sites. We've now got 10 international dedicated websites, and that's very much driven by our younger customer portfolio. The product brand that we offer, which is 99.9% only M&S product, also gives us an opportunity to be more unique than some other retailers. We've got to invest in quality, we've got to invest in value, but because we only sell M&S products, it makes them more difficult to compare for customers online. So when you've got that compare all category, we don't fall into that chasing the price sector. And importantly, coming back to that store estate that I mentioned earlier, it allows us to work our store estate harder. It's around a collection point, it's about an inspiration point, and it's making us think about how do we need to develop our store portfolio as we go forward. So we've got to seize the opportunity. And as you heard in the introduction, when Mark Bullen joined the organisation a few years ago, he set out what our plan was to be a leading, not just a multi-channel, but a leading multi-channel international retailer. But to do that, we've got to invest. Now, some of you that have shopped with M&S or heard about M&S before may know that our current web platform is powered by Amazon. It's absolutely great for books, DVDs, and all of those things like that, but when you're trying to sell furniture or flowers or wine, it doesn't really work. It's a bit too functional, and that's what our customers tell us. So we're investing in a brand new web platform that we will launch next year that will move us away from Amazon. We're also investing in a brand new e-com distribution centre. This most enormous shed, if you're ever near Donington in the Midlands, then you'll probably see it before it sees you. But that will allow us to really improve our delivery proposition as well, because that's one of the other areas I'll come back to that our customers tell us isn't good enough. So it's a huge amount of investment in the infrastructure to get those basics right. But multi-channel thinking is also important. As I've said, we've had to do a lot of work to shatter the myth that our older customer doesn't possibly shop online and doesn't possibly want to engage online. So we've really got to move that forward, but we've also had to think about our store colleagues. So we get the scenario of, well, we don't want them to place it online because that'll go, we won't have the sale in our store. Well, it doesn't really matter where the sale is taken. The customers very like to come and pick it up in your store. So we've got to embrace multi-channel thinking across the business. For 129 years, we've bought and procured and sent products to the stores. Now we've got to start to think about allocating stock to our e-com portfolio as well. And we're going to try a few things, and some of them won't work. And again, probably from what you may think about, or what you may know about M&S, we've probably always not been that risk-taking business. But in this world, which is so fast-moving, you've got to take a few risks, and there'll be a few things that we'll try that no doubt won't work, but we've really got to make sure we're a step ahead. And we have delivered that in a way by Shop Your Way. It's been a bit bumpy and it's not perfect, but it's responded to our customers' needs by offering them an ordering facility where they can then order online, they can order on their mobile, and they can pick up in store. Last year, we made it available for next day. So with a 12 noon cut-off for Shop Your Way, you can collect your product next day in one of over 450 stores, including our Simply Food portfolio. What we've got to keep doing is pushing that boundary back, because some of you will say, well, next it's a 9 o'clock cut-off and you can get it next day. And you're absolutely right. We can't stand still. So we know what the opportunity is, and we've got plans in place to deliver it. What we need to do within M&S is reinvent shopping and not create multi-channel as something that sits over there, but how do you make it a holistic part of the customer experience where we really do stand in the customer's shoes and walk through that shopping and delivery and maybe return journey right across the organisation. And there are 4 key areas that we are really focusing on that our customers have told us we need to do better. The first is they want more dialogue with us and they want more inspiration from us. The second is more choice and better availability. If you refer back to that chart that I showed you earlier, stock availability on the left-hand side was the lowest possible rated. Easier and more convenient. The other area as well, from a business perspective, is what are the opportunities for employees? So let me just walk you through each of those. Creating more dialogue. Back 4 years ago, it'd been now, when we celebrated our 125 years, we decided we were going to launch into the world of Facebook. And I remember having a conversation with the lovely Sir Stuart Rose saying, we really do need to create a Facebook site. He went, right, well, what is it? Where does it sit? So we had a bit of work to do, but he got behind it, recognising it was a really important trend. We've now got over 1.2 million fans on our Facebook page. We've also got over 100,000 followers on Twitter. And the dialogue here is really important. Traditionally, we'd have been quite tell to our customers. This is what we want to tell you, either in a press advert or on a radio advert or putting out other forms of marketing. What social media has allowed us to do is to really create that dialogue with our customers. So before we've even created a Percy Pig, I knew I wasn't going to get that out, a Percy Pig Facebook page, there was a Percy Pig Facebook site. It was nothing to do with Marks and Spencer's. Clearly somebody that has more time than I do had clearly decided to set this up. But we then worked with them and we've now got a Percy Pig fan club. So who's into Percy Pigs? Oh, good. Well done. I haven't brought any, sorry. I set you up there and I haven't brought any. About a year and a half ago, we asked our Facebook followers whether Penny should propose to Percy on the, because it was leap year. Over 60,000 customers, Facebook followers, got involved and said, yes, she should. And then what we've done this year, we've asked them is what should the flavour be of the sweets that we should put in the Percy and Penny bags? Again, over 10,000 people voted for the winning line, and the winning line is now in production and will be in stores later next month in June. It's a great example of dialogue and co-creation and collaboration. But we don't just use it for that. I look after the team that monitor the Facebook and Twitter sites to respond to customer service complaints as well. And that's been a real journey because you're not quite sure when you should leap in or do you leap out. But what you also see is a lot of regulation. So a customer will go on and say, I thought this store was absolutely terrible. And then another customer will come and go, I think that store's wonderful. How dare you say anything about it? But it gives you a real insight. And what we're starting to do now is use that insight and drive it back into the business. So one of the areas we've got to work on is the fit of our products. I'm sure you're all sat there nodding. You know, you can buy 2 size 10s, ladies, and they don't always quite fit the same. So I was reading a Facebook comment last week. This lady said, I've ordered 5 Purina items, all in the same size, and they've all got a different fit. So I rang the head of technology for Purina, and I said, well, what are you going to do about this? And he met her in a store and he talked to her about it and took that feedback on. So that's how we can use the power of this customer feedback to really bring the customer's voice to life within the organisation. So it really is about dialogue rather than just tell. It's also about inspiration though. So last year in autumn, and apologies that the image is a little bit out of date now, although it still feels like autumn outside, we launched our first integrated campaign. So our billboard advertising, our press advertising, then our online advertising all joined up for the first time. And again, what we're able to do is to show inspiration to our customers and show them how products would look on the models, and we had catwalk videos as well. And what we saw is that for the key hero lines, we saw over a 50% increase in sales. So our customers want that inspiration. They want to know that they're going to look good in an item. They want to know what other people think about it. They want to know what the fashion bloggers are thinking. And our .com site allows us the perfect opportunity to do this. But inspiration can't just be about online. That can't be where all the sexy stuff is because most of our business still takes place in our shop. So we've got to bring that inspiration to life as well. And we've done that in a number of ways. On the far left-hand side, it's quite a small image, but we've introduced, I call them big iPads. Browse and order screens where customers can look at different outfits. They can look at some of the M&S TV clips that we've got as well to help them make their purchases. We've also, in our beauty hall, which is the middle photograph, introduced a virtual makeover. I haven't tried it yet, but you're able to sit in front of a screen, try the different products, see what they would look like. You can automatically add them to your basket, pay for them, and then when you get home, you can put a review or rating on the site. So really integrated it, and that's worked really well in our stores. And then we've introduced large digital screens as well, particularly in our smaller stores that perhaps a little bit more confined for space, where we're showing catwalk images and where we can absolutely bring the product to life. So it can't just be about online. If we're going to be multi-channel, we've got to think about what it looks like across the entire estate. So that was the first thing we've got to get better, dialogue and inspiration. The second is about choice and availability. And our aspiration here is, regardless of which store you may shop in or how big or small it is, you've got access to every single line that M&S sell, because you'll either have a browse and order screen or there'll be iPads. We've now got 1,500 iPads out in our stores, strapped to our colleagues who absolutely love them, helping customers buy, showing them the choice that is available. And our aspiration is if you can't buy it in that store, you'll always be able to buy it online. We're not quite there yet because that's where we've got to really drive availability. But it's about opening up that choice to our customers and making sure we've then got the stock at the back end to support all of those orders. Easier and more convenient. This comes back to the example about shop your way. You know, I don't want it delivered at home because for those of us that work. It's that when you get through the front door and there's that card that goes, sorry, we missed you. Then you've got to go through the whole scenario of trying to track your package down. So this is why Shop Your Way has been really important, because we've got over, as I said, over 468 stores now, including all of our Simply Food stores where you can collect that purchase. We've already got the lead time down from 4 days to 1 day, and what we want to do even more as we launch the new Econ Distribution Centre is get that down even further. But this is a real opportunity for growth for us. This is what our customers are talking about. Not just about delivery though, it's also about devices. Everyone's just about got a mobile. Even my 9-year-old is saying for his 10th birthday, when can I have a mobile, Mummy? And I'm thinking, everyone's got them. We were the first UK high street retailer to launch a truly integrated mobile site. And we've seen over 300% growth every single year. People have ordered beds on the mobile. I'm not quite sure how that would work. But the items that are ordered most often off at our mobile site are flowers. Oh God, I'm going to someone's dinner party, or it's someone's birthday and I've forgotten. Back to school, because it's a really easy functional purchase. And also, and I don't quite get this one, the tummy tuck swimsuit, but I'll leave you to work that one out for yourselves. The point being that it's not just about availability, it's not just about choice, it's about giving customers choice of how they want to order. At home, on their website, on their tablet, on the mobile phone. And we absolutely see mobile as being the biggest growth area for us. That's where we're channeling a huge amount of our investments as we go forward. And if you haven't downloaded the app, please do, because it's it'd be really, really good to get your feedback. So they were the top 3 things. The fourth thing is about what does it mean to our employees? How can we use multi-channel technology to help our employees? Because it can't all be just about the customer, and I can say that as the head of customer service. Not many people can, but it can't. It's got to be about our people. And there are 4 key areas where we're really looking to see how we can engage with our employees. The first is around training. You'll all know, probably better than I, that the way that we train now has got to reflect people's lifestyles, it's got to reflect their learning styles. And, and I don't like the word gamification, but training and making it fun and using technology is absolutely critical as we move forward. Training in the classroom, getting people off the shop floor is a thing of the past, because it doesn't work, it's not real life. So we're investing in how we can use our multi-channel technology for training purposes as well. Also, tools for the job. One of the areas that we know that we've got to do better is making sure that our colleagues have got the right amount of product knowledge to help customers buy. But you can't retain a huge amount of information. So how can we use our technology, particularly in our iPads to store, to make sure that if you don't know the answer for something, the answer's at your fingertips? We're also investing more in QR codes so that customers can scan the bottle of wine and up will come, you might want to eat this with this, it's come from this vineyard, this is how you need to store it. Engagement is a critical one as well. I think for any of those of you that have colleagues in many, many sites, but also that aren't sitting behind a desk, engagement is one of our biggest challenges. How do you get a message to 60,000 colleagues? Or as I say, how do you get a message to Molly in Maidenhead who works 20 hours a week? Okay, she doesn't start her shift at 8 o'clock in the morning and finish it at 6 at night when the store closes. And that's the really, really big challenge. So how can we use these tools? And what we've invested is in knowledge to share. We've got 60-second clips. It's not allowed to be longer than 60 seconds because otherwise it goes on and it's probably not relevant. But some of our buyers being interviewed and videoed to talk about why this asparagus is great or what fresh feet socks means. I won't bore you with that, it's all about silver cloud technology. But people can just look at them and they can be inspired by them, and then they can start to use that knowledge with customers. We also use it for conference cascade messages as well. So thinking about whether it's the big screens, whether it's the iPads, whether it's the large digital format, how can we use that to engage our colleagues? And then how do we keep them up to date with what's going on? Hopefully I've painted a picture about how fast moving this is. We've got to make sure that our 60,000 colleagues don't feel left behind and that we can keep them updated as we move forward. So our job, and part of my job working with my colleagues, whether they are in buying, whether they're in distribution, whether they are in the operations side of the .com site, is thinking about how do we join it all up for the customer? How to create that dialogue with them? How do we create that inspiration for them? How do we recognise their lifestyle? We've recently introduced free Wi-Fi in all of our stores. It's okay me saying, well, you should really download the M&S app and use it to shop, but we need to offer the service there with free Wi-Fi. Something very obvious, but something that we hadn't necessarily done. Looking at how we can ensure that our stores reflect what our customers are looking for as we move forward. And then thinking and continuing to invest in all of those different channels and the different way to shop. So we're sort of nearly near the end of our journey, I guess, but I think the journey will never really end, because we've always got to keep thinking about how do we reinvent and refresh the customer experience, absolutely listening to the previous speaker about what our customers are telling us. So whether it's through customer feedback on reviews and ratings, or whether it's been the co-creation around the new site that we've been building, or whether it's using CSAT scores from the customer service centre, my job really then is to make sure I'm going back to the business and saying, well, this is how far we've come, but this is what customers are continuing to tell us that we can improve. So I finished ahead of time as well. So I'm going to hand back to your chair, and then I think we'll take any questions. Thank you.